Welcome to Premium Coin Deals. Okay, quick question. Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, meh, just a penny? Well, hold on. That little copper coin in your hand might just be your golden ticket, literally worth $1.7 million. Astonished face moneybag. Yep, today we're talking about the legendary 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny that's taken the coin collecting world by storm. And trust me, you don't want to accidentally spend this at a vending machine for a stale pack of gum. So, grab your jar of old change, because after this video, you're going to be flipping pennies like a Vegas card shark. First off, let's break it down. What's so special about this plain-looking penny? I mean, it's not dipped in gold, doesn't have a diamond-encrusted Abe Lincoln on it. So why $1.7 million? Well, it's all thanks to a double die obverse error. Sounds fancy, right? Basically, during minting, the die used to stamp the penny shifted ever so slightly, and bam! A doubled image of the date and lettering appeared. See that? It's like the coin had a little too much coffee and started seeing double. Okay, now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these beauties? Look at the date, 1972, no mint mark under the year. Zoom in on the lettering. Liberty and I in God we trust should look a little funky, like it's got a shadow or blur. Abe's face might even look a bit off, kinda like he just woke up from a nap. Face with tears of joy. So let me tell y'all a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a gas station digging through my car's cup holder, you know, the black hole of loose change, old receipts, and mysterious crumbs. I found this crusty penny and was this close to using it to pay for a bag of chips. But something about it looked weird. I tossed it in my maybe important jar at home and forgot about it. Fast forward a year, boom! I found out it was a 1972 double die. Not the $1 million one, but still worth a few $100. Moral of the story? Never disrespect the penny, people. Pennies got power! Now here's the juicy part. One pristine, mint-condition 1972 no-mint mark double die obverse penny sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million at auction. Collectors go bananas for this coin, especially in high grades like MS65 or higher. And if it's certified by PCGS or NGC? Even better. That's like getting your penny a tuxedo before sending it to prom. Sir Lincoln is ready to party at the auction house. Alright, coin family, here's your mission. Dig through that old jar, check behind the couch, raid Grandpa's coin stash, because you never know if a $1 million penny is hiding in plain sight. And don't forget, look for the 1972 date, no mint mark, and those doubled letters. You could be holding a small copper coin that's worth more than a Lamborghini. And please, for the love of snacks, don't spend it on vending machine Doritos. If you enjoyed this video and want more hilarious and helpful tips on finding coins worth serious cash, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, give us a like, and hit the bell so you never miss a chance to turn pocket change into profit. Bellhop Bell Dollar Banknote, got a weird penny or a coin story to share? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, usually while eating cereal. Grinning face with sweat. We're diving into why this unassuming little coin is causing such a big stir in the collector world, what makes it so dang special, and how you might have one without even knowing it. So let's break it down. The 1981 Lincoln penny, at first glance, seems totally ordinary. It's got our guy Abe Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, made of copper-plated zinc, or, if you're lucky, solid copper, because 1982 was the year they switched to zinc. But here's the kicker, the valuable ones? They don't have a mint mark. That means they were minted in Philadelphia, cause Philly didn't start putting mint marks on pennies until 2017. Rude. But not every 1981 no mint mark penny is a jackpot. The real gold mine is in the ones with rare mint errors or perfect condition, like MS67 red or higher. Translation? Minty fresh. Like, just came out of the vending machine and said, "Sup, I'm flawless." Alright, let's talk cheddar. Why is this coin worth more than my car, and my neighbor's car, and probably half of the block? Well, the $1.8 million price tag comes from a combination of rarity, condition, and demand. The top 1981 no-mint mark penny was reportedly graded at an MS67 plus RD by PCGS. That's like the Beyoncé of pennies, no flaws, all fire. And collectors are going nuts over early 80s high-grade coins. Why? Because finding one in that perfect condition is like finding a sock in the dryer that actually matches. It's rare, people. Let me tell you a quick story. I once thought I found a super rare penny. It was from 1943 and looked silver. I literally called my mom, posted it on Facebook, and did a happy dance in the living room. Turns out, it was just steel. From 1943. Not rare. Worth maybe 20 cents. Womp womp. But it got me hooked on checking my change. And eventually, I did find a coin worth over $100, just chillin' in my change tray at the gas station. That's why I always say, check before you chuck. Got a jar of pennies at home? Here's what to do. Look for no mint mark under the date. Check for shiny red color, that means less wear. Get a magnifying glass and look for die errors like doubling or off-center strikes. If you think you've got something hot, get it graded by PCGS or NGC. Don't just toss it on eBay like it's a pair of old socks. Even if it's not $1 million find, some of these are worth hundreds, even thousands. That's a pretty good return on a coin you got as change for a bag of chips. So the next time you get change from the grocery store, don't just throw it in the drawer. Take a closer look. That boring penny might just pay off your student loans, or at least cover a really solid vacation. And hey, even if you don't find the $1.8 million jackpot penny, checking your coins is fun, oddly therapeutic, and, let's be honest, a great excuse to act like a pirate on a treasure hunt. If you found this video helpful, or hilarious, hit that subscribe button, give this video a big ol' thumbs up, and ring that bell so you never miss a chance to learn about coins that could make you rich. We're dropping coin tips, price secrets, and real strategies every week. 1990-60 Lincoln 1-cent penny. And no, I'm not kidding. This little guy could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yup, you heard me right. $1.7 million. All for a penny. Now, before you run off to raid your piggy bank or start scanning your collection of old coins, let's break down how this penny turned into such a big deal and how you can spot it. Alright, so first things first. Let's talk about why this 1990-60 penny is so special. You see, the 1990-60 penny was produced in the Denver Mint, just like every other regular penny that year. But there was a tiny mistake, a minting error that makes it way more valuable than you'd expect. So, what makes this particular penny so valuable? It's a rare case of a double die error. That means the coin was struck twice, causing the image of Lincoln and the lettering to be double printed. In case you missed it, we're talking about the face of Abraham Lincoln being slightly off in the design, giving it a unique look. That double print is what makes this penny so desirable. Now, I can almost hear you thinking, but how can a penny be worth more than $1, let alone $1 million? Great question. The answer lies in scarcity. Even though it's a tiny mistake in the minting process, there aren't many of these double-die 1990-60 pennies out there in mint condition. And when something's rare and in demand, the price can skyrocket. Speaking of finding valuable things in unlikely places, I have a funny story to share. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my grandpa's old drawer. You know, the one full of that random stuff you never really want to throw away, old receipts, weird tools, and a ton of coins that are probably worth less than the paper they're printed on. Well, I'm going through this drawer, and I find a penny that looked a little funny. The design wasn't quite right. It looked like the "In God We Trust" part was slightly off. So, naturally, I threw it in my coin pile, thinking it was probably just a quirky, not so valuable minting error. Fast forward a few months, and I come across a video on YouTube, yes, just like the one you're watching now, talking about valuable coins and their errors. And boom! I realized I might be holding a hidden gem. I rushed to check the penny, did a bit of research, and spoiler alert, I didn't hit the jackpot. But hey, I still ended up with a neat story and a reminder that sometimes, you never know what you might find. Okay, back to the 1990-60 Lincoln penny. Now, how can you tell if you have one of these $1,000,000 gems? First off, check the mint mark. It should say, D, under Abraham Lincoln's neck. That's what makes it the 1990-60, not just any 1996 penny. Then, carefully examine the image of Lincoln and the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust. If you notice that the words or Lincoln's face appear to be doubled, that's your golden ticket. Now, to give you some perspective on the value, most of these 1990-60 pennies are worth just 1 cent. But the rare double die error pennies? They can fetch up to $1.7 million in pristine condition. So yeah, that's a pretty huge difference. Now, here's where things get tricky. Finding one of these pennies in good enough condition is a whole other ball game. Mint state, uncirculated pennies are the ones that fetch the highest prices. So, if you happen to find a double die 1990-60 penny and it's in perfect shape, congrats, you could be holding on to a small fortune. So, there you have it. The 1990-60 Lincoln penny, worth far more than a cent and potentially your ticket to financial freedom. But if you're watching this thinking, great, now I'm off to dig through my drawers and pockets, I've got one important thing to say: keep an eye on those coins, folks. The next one you find might just be a millionaire maker. And hey, if you're into discovering hidden treasures in your spare change, or if you want to know more about coins that are worth serious money, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I've got tons of tips, strategies, and fun stories just like this one. You don't want to miss out on that. Hit the subscribe button, tap the notification bell so you won't miss any updates, and remember, keep your eyes on your coins, because the next one could be a goldmine. 2001 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent penny. And today, we're diving into how this little copper coin went from being tucked away in your wallet, probably collecting dust, to potentially being your ticket to millionaire status. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's explore this crazy world of high-value pennies. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Now you're probably thinking, a penny? Really? Is this guy serious? And hey, I get it. You've probably got a jar full of pennies at home, most of them covered in a little dust, maybe a few of them with that classic, bent out of shape look, like they've been through the ringer. But hold up, let's focus on one special penny. The 2001 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent penny. Now, here's the thing, most pennies made in 2001 have the D Mint mark, or P Mint mark, which means they were minted in Denver or Philadelphia. But the 2001 No Mint Mark penny? That's a rare anomaly, a beautiful little freak of nature in the world of coins. Why, you ask? Because it has no mint mark, which is a serious fluke in the US mint's production process. So, why is it worth so much? Well, to be honest, it's all about rarity. There were supposed to be no pennies made without a mint mark in 2001, yet somehow, a handful slipped through the cracks. Some say it was a mistake, others think it was an intentional error, but no matter what the reason, it's a true treasure for collectors. And when you have a coin this rare, it can be worth millions. Now, I know you're probably thinking, alright, I get it, it's rare, but does that mean I'm gonna find one of these pennies just sitting in my change jar? Well, as much as I wish you'd find one under your couch cushions, it's not that easy. These rare pennies are super hard to find, and even if you did stumble upon one, the condition is everything. See, the 2001 No Mint Mark penny's value skyrockets if it's in great condition. Think mint condition, no scratches, no tarnishing, just that fresh, shiny penny look. If it's in good condition, you're looking at somewhere around $1.6 million. Yes, million within. But if it's a bit banged up? Well, it's still worth a pretty penny, but not quite as much. Now, let me share a funny personal story with you about the power of a coin. One day, I was at a local flea market, just browsing through a box of junk coins. You know, the ones where you're just hoping for a cool find but realistically expecting a bunch of dull old pennies. Well, guess what I found? Not a 2001 No Mint Mark penny. That would have been too easy, right? but I did find a 1943 steel penny. It wasn't worth millions, but it was still worth a good chunk of change. The lesson here? It's all about knowing what you're looking for and being patient. Some people walk by these coins every day without giving them a second thought, while others are making bank off their finds. So, moral of the story, always check your change. You never know what might be hidden in plain sight, so, there you have it, folks. The 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a rare, mysterious, and totally mind-blowing coin that could be worth a cool $1.6 million if you happen to find one in mint condition. While they're super rare and hard to come by, don't get discouraged. If you're on the lookout for rare coins, trust me, it's all about being in the right place at the right time and knowing what to look for. If you're as obsessed with coins as I am and want to keep learning about valuable finds like this one, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. I've got tons of tips and strategies to help you turn your pocket change into a fortune. And hey, if you've ever found a coin that was worth more than you expected, drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. 2060 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that has some serious value hiding in plain sight. And let me tell you, this penny has a story that might just make you look at your change jar in a whole new light. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into the fascinating world of rare pennies. Alright, let's get into it. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny worth $1.7 million? Is this a joke? Well, I assure you, this is no joke, and it's not the type of thing you want to overlook while sorting through your piggy bank. The 2060 Lincoln 1-cent penny is special because it's got a rare feature that makes it a total gem for collectors. Now, before you start Googling is my 2060 penny worth $1.7 million, let me break it down for you. This coin didn't just magically turn into a $1 million treasure. There's a specific error, or rather, an anomaly, that caused this coin to skyrocket in value. And guess what? It's not your regular just an old penny scenario. This coin has something called a double die obverse, a fancy way of saying it was struck with an imprint that's a little off-center. But in the world of coins, off-center can actually mean jackpot. So, what exactly happened? Well, in 2006, some of the pennies produced by the Denver Mint had a misalignment in the minting process. Instead of getting a clean strike with the image of Lincoln and the year, the penny got struck twice with the same design. The result? A blurry, slightly doubled image of Lincoln's profile and the date, making it a rare anomaly. Collectors went crazy over this, and now, this little penny, yes, this tiny coin, can fetch up to $1.7 million. But don't run to your nearest coin shop just yet. It's important to remember that not every 2060 penny is going to be worth millions. For it to reach that value, it needs to be in perfect condition. We're talking about mint state quality, so if it's got scratches, dings, or any wear and tear, it's not gonna make you a millionaire, sorry folks. Speaking of pennies, let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my drawer, and I found a jar of coins that I'd been saving for, well, forever. I was looking for a few quarters for laundry, and guess what I found buried underneath all those dimes and nickels? A 2006 penny. I didn't think much of it at the time, but now I wish I'd taken a closer look. I could have had a few extra zeros in my bank account. At the time, I was more interested in the pennies I had for the candy machine at the store, but now I realize I missed out on a potential windfall. But hey, you win some, you lose some, right? Anyway, the point here is that you really have to pay attention to what you have in your pocket change. I'm not saying every penny you find is going to be worth a fortune, but you just never know when you'll stumble upon a rare gem. So, keep an eye out for those mint errors, especially with coins from the mid-2000s like the 2060 Lincoln. Now, let's talk about how you can actually spot a valuable 2060 penny. First off, you'll want to carefully inspect the obverse, fancy word for the head side of the penny. Look for the doubled impression of Lincoln's face and the date. If you see it, bingo! That's your ticket to the big leagues. Next, condition is key. If your penny looks like it's been through a war zone, it's probably not worth millions. You want to make sure there's minimal wear, and ideally, it should be in mint condition. I'm talking about a coin that's almost flawless. No nicks, no scratches, just shiny perfection. If you think you might have one, it's worth getting it appraised by a professional. You know, a coin expert who will look at it and tell you whether you should start planning for your yacht purchase. So let's recap. The 2060 Lincoln 1-cent penny is worth a whopping $1.7 million. But only if it has that rare double die obverse error and is in mint condition. You won't find one of these every day, but now that you know about it, you can start checking your pocket change and even your coin collection. You never know, you might just get lucky. And hey, if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips and tricks about rare coins that could be worth a fortune. From pennies to nickels to quarters, I've got your back when it comes to finding those hidden gems. And if you've ever found a coin that you thought was worth something, drop me a comment below and tell me your story. Maybe you've got a 2060 penny sitting in your drawer right now. Who knows? Alright, coin hunters, good luck, and don't forget to check your change. Who knows? The next time you find a penny, it might just make you a millionaire. 2015 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. I know, pennies, right? You probably think, how could a penny ever be worth anything, let alone a small fortune? But trust me, folks, this isn't just any penny. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why this little piece of copper could put you on the map. And hey, if you're like me, you've probably stared at a jar of old coins, hoping for that one jackpot to magically appear. Spoiler alert, it could happen, so grab your magnifying glass, get comfy, and let's dive into the story of this insanely valuable 2015 Lincoln penny. Now, you're probably wondering, how on earth can a 2015 penny be worth $1.8 million? Well, first things first, there's something about this penny that makes it incredibly rare. But before we go all Indiana Jones on this, let me break it down for you. If you're a coin enthusiast, or just a regular person who has a drawer full of pennies from the 80s, you've probably noticed that most coins have a mint mark. It's that little letter on the coin that tells you where it was made. D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, you get the idea. But here's the kicker, the 2015 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of those strange anomalies. You see, most pennies from 2015 have a mint mark, either a D or P. But a very small number, like super small, were accidentally struck without a mint mark. And that, my friends, is where the magic happens. A penny from 2015 without a mint mark is wildly rare and highly collectible. In fact, this rarity is what makes it worth millions. And no, that's not a typo. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, this is a rare coin, but surely it can't be that rare, right? Well, here's the thing. The number of these coins that actually made it into circulation is incredibly low. And on top of that, only a handful of these 2015 No Mint Mark pennies have been verified by experts as being genuinely authentic. But you don't have to take my word for it. Let's talk about one such penny that was recently sold for, you guessed it, $1.8 million at an auction. That's more than the average person's entire life savings in one tiny coin. This is where it gets a bit fun. You know how in every movie, there's that scene where the treasure hunter discovers something unexpected, like a hidden gem? Well, finding one of these 2015 pennies is kind of like that moment, except instead of a dusty old map, you're probably just cleaning out a pile of loose change you found in your couch cushions. Which, by the way, is exactly how I stumbled upon an old coin of my own once. I was sitting there, casually going through some old pennies, don't judge me. We all have that drawer, and I found a 1960 penny with an odd look. It wasn't $1 million find, but it got me way more excited than it should have. That penny went straight to the coin expert, and while it didn't turn me into a millionaire, it did teach me one thing. You never know what you'll find when you start looking. So, back to the 2015 No Mint Mark penny. There's no treasure map, no magical ancient artifact. Just a lucky roll of coins, a rare strike, and maybe, just maybe, a spot in history. Why should you care? Let's be honest, We all love the idea of finding something that could be worth millions, even if it's just a small part of your change jar. The thing with rare coins is that they're not only valuable, but they also have a fascinating story behind them. The more you know, the better chance you have of finding that one coin that changes everything. But wait, let's not get too carried away. You've got to know what you're looking for. The 2015 no-mint mark penny isn't going to jump out at you like a glowing golden ticket. You've got to know the signs, and here's where I come in. Alright, coin lovers, now you know about the hidden gem that is the 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Is it worth hunting down? Absolutely. Is it likely you'll find one sitting in your couch cushions like I did with that old 1960 penny? It's a long shot, but it's worth a try. Before you start rating your coin jars, here's a little tip: check those pennies carefully. Keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might strike gold, or in this case, copper. If you enjoyed this little deep dive into coin history and want more tips on coins worth big bucks, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for all the latest updates. And hey, if you've got your own crazy coin story, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your wildest finds.